Hi everyone. I've noticed this trend of videos called story time, and I thought I'd participate. And one of the reasons why I want to participate in this is because I'm gonna share with you how a normal, sensible, intelligent young woman can make a really stupid mistake and can just have like a moment of insane madness and make a wrong decision just like that. I don't want anyone to make this mistake. I don't want anyone to do what I did all these years ago. And I have no problem sharing because it happened a long time ago. And I'm just going to tell you what happened. Years ago, when I was about, say, 22, 23, I'm 36 now. So 22, 23, I was working at MAC Cosmetics in Kensington. And it was a Sunday. And I had a boyfriend at the time who's actually the father of my daughter. And life was good. You know, I lived by myself in my own apartment. I didn't have any dramas, any issues. Everything was fine. I had a great job. You know, I was just a young woman and life was good. In London, I'm not sure across the world, but in London, shops finish early. They close early. So I don't know. Maybe we close the store about 4 or 5 o'clock. I'm not sure. And it was a really sunny day. I can't remember if it was spring or summer, but it must have been about spring or summertime. I know it wasn't winter. And it was a really sunny day. And at the time, I don't think my boyfriend and I had anything planned that day. I don't know if he was busy. I can't remember. I know that I wasn't heading home to him and he wasn't coming to me that evening. So I just literally had free time. And I was quite sociable those days, you know. I was quite a busy bee. You're not gonna you're not gonna believe this story. You're not gonna believe it. Or maybe you will, I don't know. Depends on your own experience. Right, so finished work, said goodbye to everybody, and I was heading back to the tube station. High Street Kensington tube station. And I don't know why, but I was just taking my time and dilly-dallying. You know when you just kind of like just look into shop windows. I know that the shops were mostly closed, but I know there was a monsoon or an accessorized near the station, and I was just kind of like putting my, you know, nose to the window, just looking at little accessories. You know, I just had time to kill, really. And as I was walking through the station, there was this white guy. I'm 5'8", and he must have been about what, 5'6", or a little bit shorter, and he was really middle-aged, definitely in his late 50s, and he had white hair like Andy Warhol. He wasn't interesting looking. He wasn't interesting looking. He was more like, I don't want to say creepy looking, but he was just like an old white man. Just like a middle-aged white man. But he didn't have grey hair. It was more like platinum. That's why I'm trying to refer to Andy Warhol. It was more like platinum hair. And he was standing there with a clipboard. I don't know what he was doing. But then he approached me and he went, hello, in the most, you know, eloquent British accent. Like, you know, I said, hello, you're absolutely stunning. Are you a model by chance? And I mean, you know, when you're a young girl, you get asked those questions all the time, whether it's a chat up line or whether it's some dodgy agency trying to approach you. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, and I was a makeup artist, so I wasn't really like phased by, you know, people asking me if I was a model or not. You know, I did a lot of models' makeup and celebrity makeup, and so I wasn't really like flattered by that. I don't know what happened to me that day, but I like to feel sorry for people. That was my biggest problem back then. I like to feel sorry for people. So I was like, oh no, I'm not a model, but thank you, that's really sweet. And he was like, well, I'm a photographer and I'm really looking for model. And listen, photographers don't do this, okay? Photographers don't really approach you in the street with a clipboard. And I knew this. I knew this. You know, at the time I had worked for BBC, Sky Television. I've done a lot of work for, you know, big organisations, freelancing as well, you know, that way. Okay, so I don't know what happened to me, but he was like, he talked really well. I think that's what got me. He spoke really intellectually, really clear, and he was like, you know, I'm a photographer, and he sounded really artsy fartsy, and he was like, you know, I'm looking for models, da 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 da. Be so interested. Would you like to come back to my apartment so I can show you some of my work? Now, what would you say, ladies? Wouldn't you say no? So why did I say yes? You tell me. I don't know why I said yes. I mean, we were talking for a little bit and he said, I just live around the corner. You know what? Mothers and fathers worry because of stupid decisions like what I made. So he said, I just live around the corner. Now, living around the corner from Kensington High Street, I mean, you're well off. You know, you live in a big house and, you know, I don't know. I mean, this is before the internet, by the way. This is before the internet became the internet and, you know, there weren't as much distractions as there are now. People had a lot of free time, a lot more trusting. I don't know. And I was like, I remember kind of saying like, oh no, I'm gonna go, you know, but it's nice to meet you. And he was like, oh no, I just want to show you my artwork. And I don't know, I just followed him. I followed him. So we went round the corner and I said, so where do you live? And he was like, oh, I just live down here. And he took me down to this street, which was quite busy, and it had all the traditional Kensington houses, you know, the maisonettes, the really, really tall maisonettes. And I don't know why, but the properties just look trustworthy. I know it sounds really stupid, but I suppose because they've got such a reputation of people with wealth living there. And it was quite a busy area. I don't know, there was a part of me that was walking with this guy thinking, oh, it'll be fine. You know, he's an eccentric artist and he just wants to show me some cool work. These times, nobody knew where I was going. You know, I don't even remember if my phone was on or off, but I know I hadn't called anyone to say, oh, I'm just following this weird white guy to his house. You know, I'm just going along with the flow, following this guy. So we walk down the road now, walking. And there was a boxer called Chris Eubanks. And he was quite famous for having this huge, like, monster truck. He used to drive it around Knightsbridge and Kensington, and he used to beat the horn. And I remember seeing it, and I remember thinking, oh, Chris Eubanks lives on this road or stays nearby. Everything's going to be cool. So walking now, you know. This is going for more than 5 minutes. Remember, nobody knows where I'm going. I don't know this man's name. I must have known his name. I don't remember his name, but let's just say his name is John. Don't know this guy, you know. I'm walking with this guy. Then, all of a sudden, I get this feeling inside. Stop following this guy. Make your excuses and go home. What the hell do you think you're doing? And I swear on my life, I had this instinct inside me that was telling me to not follow this guy. But guess what? I still follow him. Following this man down the road with this worry inside me going, are you stupid? What are you doing? I'm still walking with this guy. So I was like, yeah, so where do you live? You know, you just start to get uncomfortable. And he's like, oh, just a little bit further down. And I start to get these weird feelings like, you're going to die today. you're going to die today, because why is your feet, why are your feet still moving? Why are you still following this guy? Honestly, just thinking about what I did is, oh God. Anyway, we get to his flat, and it's like it's a masonette, which is, it's like a huge, it's almost like a tall mansion, right? But it's been converted into apartments. But I didn't know that. On the outside, I thought that maybe it was like a masonette with maybe two homes. That makes sense. Like maybe someone lives on the ground floor down, and then maybe he's got the top floor. But do you know what? When he opened the door, my mouth went dry. And you know, you've got your conscience, and you know your conscience is telling you, what are you doing? Get out of this place. I didn't. I just followed him. And then when you're inside, there was a lot of stairs. I mean, there was probably about 4 or 5 levels. It was such a tall building, 4 or 5 levels. And then I realised that there are so many apartments in this building that it's actually quite small. It's not as big as I thought they would be. And we're walking up the stairs, walking up the stairs, walking up the stairs. He's on the top floor. Maybe I don't know if it was the 4th or 5th floor. It was just high, and inside was a lot more narrow than I thought it was on the outside. Oh, my heart's going funny right now. Gosh, you know why? Because I'm a mum, and I'm thinking I'm a smart girl. I'm a smart girl. Never got myself into trouble or anything like that, and I can't believe I was that dumb. Then we go to his outside his house, and then I start looking at him, and I think, he doesn't look like an artist, you know. He just looks like a middle-aged man. What am I doing outside his door? Then you have this other part of your brain that says, everything will be fine. This is Kensington. He's artistic. Be open-minded. You don't know where this might take you. No. A real artist, a real photographer will invite you to their exhibition or their event, or give you a business card, yeah? You don't follow anybody to their house. I wish I could go back in time and shake my 20-something stupid self. So, go into the apartment, and I am petrified. Honestly, I am stupidly petrified. I felt so stupid. I honestly, I don't know what happened to me and my power and my brilliant common sense, but I just could not leave this man. So I'm in the apartment now, and I'm looking around, and I'm thinking, well, it doesn't smell funny. It looks really quite plain. I could see like there was a corridor and there was a few more rooms, which is quite unexpected, really, because when he opened the door, the first section was like the living room, which was quite small. I don't know how many feet. It was probably about, I would say 10 by 10 feet by 10 feet, which is not really that big, you know. That's just the living room. And then there was a little balcony. There was a door that led to a little balcony, not to sit in, just to stand. Then I could see from an angle there was a kitchen, and then there was a hallway. So the other 2 rooms must have been a bathroom and a bedroom. I just sat. He told me to just kind of like sit down. So I must have sat down in the living room area. And he said, "Do you want something to eat?" Or I said no. And I was like really frightened, and I was like no. And he was like, "Okay, you need to relax more." He was like, "You need to relax more. You need to relax more." And I said, in my head I said, "I'm going to die. This is how my life is going to end, because I'm a dumb bitch. I'm an idiot. I'm a fool. I'm gonna die because I'm stupid." He was in the kitchen for a long time. I don't know what he was doing. And he came out again and he put the TV on. And I was like really thinking, how am I going to get out of this house? What if he's locked the main door? I didn't want to run to the door and open it. And I was like a little rabbit sitting on that sofa. I was just so frightened. And I don't know why, because I was taller than him and I was bigger than him. And I don't know why I was frightened of this little man. My God. If my daughter ever grows up and watches this video, don't listen, just learn from your mother's mistakes. So I'm thinking, I'm looking around, I can't see any artwork. I'm thinking, well, maybe he's just rented this place temporarily. I'm just thinking, you're just kind of convincing yourself. Sometimes, when you make stupid decisions, you somehow are in denial. So he comes out eventually, and this is the worst bit. I've lost track of time. It's getting dark. Nobody knows where I am. I don't know the street that I'm on. I don't know the man's door number. He comes out of the kitchen with 2 frames, picture frames. Hear what he says to me. Let me show you my artwork. Like my photography that he does. If you ever saw the pictures that he showed me. One picture was of a black woman in a nightclub, leaned up against the bar, and he must have taken it from at least, I don't know, it looked like it was taken at such distance. You couldn't see her face clearly. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? She was leaned up on the bar like this, with some type of, I don't know, I mean, I can't remember, it's years ago now, but it was just some kind of skimpy outfit. Nothing pornographic, but just a skimpy kind of club outfit with some dodgy wig, and he'd taken it feet away. Probably about the same distance as his living room, 10 feet away or more. It's just a far shot on some just standard domestic camera. And he goes, so these are the pictures that I've taken. So he showed me that one. I'm thinking, this can't be happening. This can't be happening. Why is he showing me a picture? Is this his photography? Is this what he's showing me? Excuse me, what hiccups. Made myself nervous. Then he took out another frame, and it was just equally as bad of some other woman. And I'm sitting there going, oh, okay. Then he starts talking, and I don't know what he's talking about. I'm so scared. All I'm thinking about is the end of my life, and how the hell am I going to get out of this man's house, and why the hell was I so stupid, and what am I doing? What the hell did I decide to do this Sunday afternoon? And is anyone going to find me? And what's he going to try and do to kill me? Is he going to try and poison me? Is he going to try and force himself on me? Is he going to stab me? Is he going to strangle me? I'm going to fight this man to the death. What's going to happen to my life right now? So he's just going, what, sit in front of me like this, what, and I'm just looking at him, and I'm just plotting my escape. I'm like, how am I going to escape this guy's clutches? Not that he was being forcible or anything like that. I was just petrified. And he talked and talked and talked and talked. And I had no power to get up and get out of this man's house. I didn't run for the door. I didn't say, oh, I've got to go now. I didn't do anything like that. For ages. So let's say we got to his house about, say we got there about 5:30 or 5:45 or something. It was going on about 3 hours. I was in this man's house. My God. 3 hours I was in this man's house for, And then finally, I don't know, I really don't remember what I said, but I made up some type of excuse. Like, oh, my ailing relative, I have to go now, because I just made up something where I had to leave, And I remember him being really weird about it and going, okay, well, like something like, okay, we'll leave in a minute, and I was just praying, you know what, don't walk behind me, you know, whatever you, I didn't want this man to walk behind me, because if he walks behind me, it was going to be a fight to the death, and that's all I was watching the sky for. Eventually he said, okay. He seemed really exasperated and irritated, maybe because he was talking to me and I didn't know what he was talking about, because I wasn't responding or communicating. I was probably just sitting there like this throughout the whole time. So eventually he got his keys and he said, okay, I'll drive you to the station. I'm like, I don't want this man to drive me to the station. And I was really scared to leave his apartment and walk down the stairs with him behind me. I wasn't going to let that happen. So eventually, when he opened the door, he kept insisting, no, I'm going to drive you to the station. I just said, I'm just going to let him think that. When we get downstairs, I'm running, mate. So he opens the door, and I remember going to the side because I was not going to let this man walk behind me. And he was like, you know, being an English gentleman or whatever, saying, you know, go ahead, come on. And I was being really, really odd. And I was like, no, you go ahead. You go ahead first. So he must have thought either, I don't know what he thought was going to happen. Maybe he brought me back to his flat to have fun and frolics. Who knows? Or, you know, I don't know. Maybe he was just an eccentric man that thought he was a great photographer and he thought I could be his model. I don't know. But all I knew is that I didn't want the man to walk behind me. So we're going down the stairs now. I'm behind him. And he's taking his time, you know. There's a lot of stairs and it's dark outside. So we go outside and I'm like, I need to run. But it's actually quite dark and I don't know where to go. And I'm still like a little rabbit in headlights. Is that a rabbit in headlights or a deer in headlights? You know what I mean? I'm just frightened. You know what I do? What does a stupid girl do? The guy goes, come on, to my car. I get in the man's car. Yeah, I do. I get in the man's car. And I'm petrified. And I still get in his bloody car. And I'm praying. You know when you pray inside, you're like, dear Father God, Lord Jesus, please, Lord God, Father, I never let it be like that, please, Lord, don't say anything, please, Father God, please, I'm going to do this again, please, make this man an honest man, and please, God, please forgive me for being so damn stupid. And I just remember rambling. I didn't know what I was saying because I was so nervous, and I just remember rambling in the car, and I remember not putting on my seatbelt. And he didn't have a nice car. He had some old kind of burgundy red old car, man. Just some old Rustafar car. And he drove me to Gloucester Road tube station. And I remember scrambling out of the car, and I did the weirdest thing. I didn't run off. I went, I don't remember his name, but say his name was John. I just said, oh John, thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you so much. Thank you for dropping me to the station. Say thank you. And he looked at me like I was the craziest woman in the world. Maybe I was. He looked at me like I was the craziest person he ever met. He was like, okay, you take care of yourself. And I went, thank you, John. You take care now, thank you. And I tell you, I ran down those escalators, and oh my God, I remember crying and getting on the train, and I just remember just going, you stupid girl, what the hell were you thinking? Inside, I was so scared. And I didn't tell my boyfriend for a few days, and he just looked at me like, what the hell was you thinking? I said, I don't know. My feet were just following him. I don't know. There was a part of me thinking, be open-minded, and maybe this is some creative, eccentric photographer that you're going to have an opportunity to work with. But there was a part of me that was saying, don't follow this guy home. He's a nutter. I didn't follow that gut instinct that was frightened. That is the worst thing I think I've ever done. I don't even know what to call this story time. What would you call this? I'm just going to call it story time. Give me a title. Please don't insult me. This is the past. We're all young and stupid. We all do silly things. The reason why I wanted to share this, right? I'm looking out for young women who are open-minded and are taking risks in life, and maybe are creative people and they're very trusting, or I don't know. But if you find that you are too trusting and you're not in tune with your instincts, you can get yourself into serious jeopardy. So please look after yourselves, please. Because I consider myself to be a very bright, smart person. And those days, in my 20s, I was really, really a smart girl. You know, I left home when I just turned 19. And, you know, I must have been, 22, 23, like I said. And I've never done anything like that before. I've never been that kind of girl. And I don't know, it's just one of those crazy things that I did. And when I look back in time, it frightens me, because what frightens me about it is that how a smart young person who's got family, friends, good social life, who is, you know, intelligent and has a boyfriend, why would she follow a middle-aged, eccentric-looking man who's not even that eccentric-looking, just creepy-looking, home? And I did that. So, people, don't go home with strangers. And that's all I've got to say. Bye.